All right, what is going on? Welcome to episode 20 of Asset Creators. Today, we're going to be chatting about the 3 types of value assets that turn leads into buyers if you haven't seen by the episode title already. So this is going to be for you if you potentially aren't attracting enough leads. Maybe you're relying too much on cold outreach, or you just feel like the leads that you're getting, you have nowhere to send them, nowhere to nurture them. Maybe, convince them more that you are the solution to their problem. And also for you, if you just want, of course, more buyers, more clients, more people coming into your ecosystem, your pipeline, so to speak, and you want to turn those people who are coming in into paying clients. So that's who this episode is going to be for. And this is going to be based off, the 3 types that have worked best for me and my clients over the last roughly 3.5 years online. So this is going to be the 3 main types. I understand that there are more types than these 3, but once again, these are the ones that have performed the best for me and for my clients. So with that being said, let's get right into the good stuff. So what we want to talk about first is what is a value asset? Because, if we're going to go deep into the 3 types of them and, these things are going to get you buyers, it's like, cool. But what is that? Let's get really, really clear on what that actually is. Now, another common name for a value asset is just a lead magnet, which is probably the one you've heard the most. But I prefer the name value asset because the whole goal of it is to lead with value, to show that what you do and what you create is valuable. And with the word lead magnet, it kind of just assumes it's more, I guess, I don't want to say selfish, but it's more about you, right? Like, I want to get leads. Well, we want to lead with value. That's what we want to do. So a value asset is a resource that you give away for free in exchange for someone's contact information. That's all it is. So you give a resource, ideally something valuable, and they give you something, their contact information, ideally their phone number, their email address, something like that. So you can contact them again in the future. Now, it's funny because it sounds like, if you're giving something away for free, that they're giving you nothing, right? You're giving them something, right? But actually, for them to give you their contact information, they truly are giving you something. So you don't ever want to feel like this exchange is just one-sided, or you are the one who's just, giving things away. Like, they have to give you their information, and that can be a big deal, especially to a lot of people. And also, they're going to give you their time, right? They're going to be giving you their time to consume whatever it is that you're giving them. So make it good is what I'm essentially saying. Now, why is it important to have a value asset, right? Well, it's going to build trust, authority, and relationships all at once, right? So you got to imagine, right? You give this resource, they come through it, they've given you something for it, their time and their email or phone number, whatever, right? And now they're spending time with you, right? So you're building relationships with them. Ideally, you're going to see, I have a pro tip here, that video is king. So ideally, they're seeing you on video. They're spending time with you. So whether they know it or not, they are building a relationship with you, familiarity with you, okay? You're going to build trust and authority if it's good and you're solving a problem for them, you're getting them some results, and they're just seeing that you're knowledgeable, that you actually know what you're talking about. So they're going to trust you more. They're going to view you as more of an authority, ideally if you're solving the problems or helping them get closer to a desire, any of those things. And you're going to be building relationships by just them spending time with you, right? So that's why it's really, really important. So many people, and if you're on LinkedIn, you know this, just connect with you and pitch you, sell you something right away. And, there's no relationship there. There's no trust. They try to lead with authority using social proof that they can obviously just make up. So that's why this value asset is going to be such an important piece in your marketing strategy, because this is what's going to bridge the gap from you being a stranger to them becoming a buyer, ideally. Now, it also gets them a quick win and associates you with results. So ideally, when it's done right, okay, you're going to get them a quick win. So they're going to consume this resource. And at the end of it, they're going to have a result. And they're going to feel like, holy crap, this person now I know can get me results. And they're going to associate you with results. And that's huge, right? Why wouldn't we want that? So very, very important. And then finally, by giving away something valuable, right? It has to be valuable. I'm going to keep stressing that's why it's called a value asset, right? It makes them more receptive to your asks later. Now, this is so important. Notice how you're not just connecting with them and asking them for something right away. Okay? You're leading with value. You're giving them something valuable. And now when you make asks later, they're way more likely and going to be way more receptive to it, but way more likely to say yes, right? And so the asks later are going to be, an offer at the end. So once they consume it, you can say, hey, by the way, I have this, next offer, whatever it is. It could be your core offer. It could be a low ticket product. It could be whatever, right? But you're going to make an offer at the end, and they're going to be way more receptive to that offer if you led with value, you solve the problem for them, okay, than just pitching them cold on LinkedIn or any social media. And then also, you can send them into an email automation, which can do a lot of selling for you as well. You can keep building the authority and the trust. You can show them a case study. You can send them to a video further explaining, a problem or whatever. And then at the end of the automation, right, you can make an offer. So that's why this is so, so important, because you're giving before you ask, right? And all of the things I mentioned here. And, to further drive this home or add to that pro tip I told you, video is king. Try your best for them to see you on video. It builds trust and relationships faster, right? They get to hear your voice. They get to see your face. They get to hear the way you speak, your cadence, the way you move. All of these things are going to build familiarity, trust. They're going to see that you're human. And we all know in the online space, a lot of scamming going on, a lot of people who aren't who they say they are. And so when they can see your face and they can hear your voice, they feel like they get to know you faster, way, way faster, right? So video is king. So I'm going to encourage you, even if it pushes your comfort zone, to whatever of these 3 resources you decide and value assets you decide to create, that you add video to it. So I kind of mentioned this at the top, but I know that there are other types of lead magnets, value assets than these 3. But once again, I'm just sharing the ones that have performed the best for me and my clients. That's it. And by perform best, I mean that leads came in, so these actually got people interested, and they actually converted into paying clients at some point, right? So when I say performed, I don't just mean it looked cool, the landing page looked cool, or whatever. It actually got signups, and it actually got paying clients. So with that foundation being set, let's get into type 1. So type 1 is going to be a workshop. Okay. Now, I did this weekly back when I ran a free community. I got lots of new leads and converted many of them into paying clients. It was a school community. And what I did in the community was every single week, I would do a workshop on some sort of problem I knew that, solopreneurs had. And I would tell people about it on LinkedIn. And it would be a great reason for them to come join my community, come to this workshop. I could make an offer at the end, or I could just follow up with everybody who came in a DM, whatever, right? Put them into an automation. You get it. So workshops are really, really good because once again, they get to see you leading, teaching, and solving problems. So how it works. Essentially, you want to do about a 30 to 60 minute presentation. You can host it live like I was doing with the communities, or you can pre-record it. And I have an example of here of one that I pre-recorded. It doesn't really matter. The goal is to just tackle a big problem or desire that your target audience has. So take them away from a pain, a problem, or closer to a desire that your target audience has. This would work for any niche. It doesn't matter. Now, you can present it from a Notion document, Google Docs, slides, like a PowerPoint presentation, whatever. All you want to do is just make sure that it's relevant and sexy to your dream clients. So, of course, I don't do anything in AI. I'm not in fitness, right? So I'm not going to do a workshop on how to get a six-pack, right? Like that's just, my audience would be very confused. I probably wouldn't get any signups, and it just wouldn't really make sense. So make sure that it's relevant to and sexy to your dream clients. And that's it. It's about a 30 to 60 minute presentation. You can do it live. What I like to do, and you're going to see here in the example I give you, is you can just do it live once, record it, and then just use that recording. So you don't have to do it every day. Obviously, when I was running my community, I was just doing it live every week because I kind of loved the interaction. So that was fun for me. Now, some mistakes to avoid when you're creating this value asset is showing them exactly how to do everything. Then they won't need your help, right? So you want to show them sort of like this saying I heard once that I really, really loved, and I cannot remember who it was by. or who like coined it, but it was wow, not how. So you want to wow them, but you don't want to show them how to do every single thing, because then they're not going to need your help. So you want to wow them, okay? What I like to do is tell them what to do. And you're actually kind of seeing that here in this presentation. I'm showing you what to do, why to do it, why it's important, right? But if you really want to know exactly step by step how to do it, of course, I would get you to be a paying client of mine, right? And so that's what you want to do in these workshops, right? Is you don't want to show them how to do everything, right? Because then they won't need your help. Now, an objection I get when I tell people this is they instantly think, well, wow, Darren, if I don't show them how to do it, it's not going to be valuable. That's not true, right? And because I can guarantee you at the end of this presentation today that you're watching in this episode, you're going to think, wow, that was very valuable, even though I didn't show you exactly how to do everything, right? Because I'm still telling you what to do and giving you guidance on how to move forward and what works. And all of these are through years of experience of testing different types of assets. So like, it's going to be valuable just telling you what to do, right? So don't think that it's not going to be valuable just because you're not giving them exactly how to do everything. Next mistake is making it too long and boring. So, once you go over an hour, it kind of starts to, people get a little restless and maybe they want to get up and move and stuff like that. So that's why 30 to 60 minutes is such a good sweet spot. And another one is just don't read off a script. I mean, you can, and I'm sure you can get better at it, but I've never really seen somebody do it very well. Like a lot of YouTube videos I see when they're reading off a script, after like a couple minutes, I'm kind of I start tuning out. It feels too robotic. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel good. So those are some mistakes to avoid. And then over editing the recording. So you want it to feel live and personal versus over polished. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm doing these lives, right? Like this is recorded live in real time right now. If I fumble over a word, I just keep going. If I mess something up, I just keep going. And it gives this feel of, it's personal. It's less polished and it feels more authentic, right? So you don't want to just take a live recording and just like over edit it and make it all crazy. Maybe you can do that for like a paid course or paid program. But, for a workshop that's a value asset, it takes away that personal live feeling. So here's an example of a content workshop that I ran in the past. And what I did, actually, this was a workshop that I did in my community when I was running it. And I did it live, and then I put the recording here. So people can just learn my AAA framework and whatever. And then here, they could just sign up. Once they sign up, it just redirects them to a page with the video just embedded right there. And then at the bottom, they can get the Notion document. So that's it, right? I did it once live, and then this was a very good value asset for me over time because I did it one time, very high leverage, and people were signing up to this, right? And a lot of those people getting put into certain automations, email follow-ups, things like that. So this one does really, really well because they get to see you presenting, teaching, solving problems, right? On video, ideally, because it's just going to build so much trust, so much authority, so much credibility, and everything that we've already talked about. So workshops, really, really good type of value asset. Type 2. This one's arguably my favorite because it's probably the most fun, not just for me, but for the people who go through it. And this is a challenge. So my highest performing value asset to date was a 3-day content writing challenge. It actually brought me my first 1,000 subscribers to my email in less than a year. This was back in 2023, I believe. And I launched a 3-day writing challenge. And yeah, it got me 1,000 subscribers in less than a year. So it did really, really well. And here's how the challenges work. Very simple, really, but over 3 to 7 days, they're going to go through a challenge with action steps at the end of every single day to complete a clear objective or task. There needs to be a clear thing that they're going to reach or a milestone. Like, think about it. When you're going through a challenge, there needs to be a clear end, a clear like, hey, we're working towards this objective, and then it's like running through the finish line, right? And so this can be done in a community. So once again, in my free school community, I used to do these challenges all the time just to keep the community excited, engaged. You can also just do it through an email automation. So you would pre-create the challenge, right? The 3 days. So like I did with this 3-day challenge was I had the days already created ahead of time, put them into a drip like every single day, they would just get the 3 emails each day when they signed up. And they would, at the end of the 3-day writing challenge, what I did was they would have a week's worth of content written and created. So they could come through the challenge. It would show them. I can actually just show you right now. And this is the Notion, not the actual landing page, but this is what it would be. So day 1 was ideating. Day 2 was writing the content. Day 3 was editing. So you could see, you'd come in here. I'd give them my system here. Why, how to collect ideas, then the actual challenge, right? And then at the very bottom, as you can see, like I told you, there's a video of me. This is like 3 years ago, or 2024, February 4th, 2024. So 2.5 years ago, whatever. So yeah, and that's how I did it. And so the way that this challenge worked was essentially at the very end of the challenge, they would be able to submit or send in what they wrote from the challenge, and I would actually give them personalized feedback just to make it even more valuable. And that's how I got, when I launched my first cohort, that's how I started filling seats in that cohort, was just going the extra mile, making it very valuable. So that's how it works. And then mistakes to avoid is choosing an outcome they don't truly desire or that's just not relevant, right? Like I said earlier, I'm not going to do a challenge on how to get a 6-pack because that's my audience. I'm not in the fitness niche. My audience would be very confused. So it needs to be an outcome that is relevant, but also that they desire. Like they need to want this thing that you're challenging them to get. Another mistake is making it boring. So not having like milestones, visible results. They must see progress is what I'm saying. So, each day there when they had to ideate in the challenge, they could see at the end of the day, oh, I have all these ideas. Once they wrote it, they could see it. Like they could visually see they were making progress. Like, oh, I wrote 3 posts already. Look at this, right? And then next thing, mistake is building the challenge around something extremely hard or unobtainable in the time frame. So once again, just using the same theme about the 6-pack, if I was like, how to get a 3-day challenge to get a 6-pack, like you're not going to get a 6-pack in 3 days. It's unobtainable, obviously extremely hard. You want the challenge to be something that's sort of a quick win, something that shows that you get results, right? That's the whole point of all of these. So these challenges are really fun. They're really good when done right. And I just showed you how and what to do it right. And then the final type is a mini course. Now, this was the main attractor for my free school community when I was doing it. So like when on the about page or when I was DMing someone, I'm like, hey, when you join, you get access to this, free course, right? It's a mini course. I didn't really say it's like a mini course. I was just like, hey, you get access to this, right? And I also like to do these before I roll out a new offer. So to my email list, usually I'll do a 3 to 5 day mini course before I launch an offer, just to build a bunch of authority, get them excited, get them some quick wins once again, and then I would make a new offer, launch or announce the new offer. So how it works really is it's very similar to the workshop, except it's split into 3 to 5 separate trainings to teach a framework or a methodology. So this is going to be ideally your unique mechanism, your framework, your methodology that you teach and is part of your, how you get your clients' results, right? Now, it can be given all at once, like I did with this community, like you join and it's there, or you can drip it out in an email automation, like, hey, sign up for this mini course, and over the next 3 days, I'm going to drip out the trainings, right? That's how you can do it. And just what I want you to do is think of it as a 101 training of your framework or your methodology. So you're obviously not going to give away the course you would give your high ticket clients or whatever, right? You would make it sort of like a 101. Once again, wow, not how. Show them what to do, not exactly how, and let them know that, hey, if you want to know exactly how to do this and you want help doing this exactly, I will help you do that, right? Some mistakes to avoid. Making the trainings too long. So with the workshop, right, the workshop itself, it's just 30 to 60 minutes, right? But with this course, if you make each training 60 minutes and you do 5 days, now that's 5 hours of training, it's going to be too much, especially for a lead who maybe doesn't know you very well yet, and they're not going to want to spend that much time with you. They don't even know you, right? Over teaching and not going deep enough into the why. So this is kind of what I was saying. you don't want to just tell people like even just what to do. You do, but you also want to tell them why, right? You can see even here at the very start of this, I told you why. Like, why do you even want this? Why do you even care? Why should you care about this, right? So you want to make sure you go deep into the why and also tell them what, wow, not how. And then another mistake is not positioning yourself as the one who can help them do this easier, faster, better after. So once someone goes through this mini course, you want to tell them like, hey, do you want to do this, build this faster or better or easier? And then position yourself as the thing or the person that can help them do it. Because ideally, when they go through the course, the mini course, they're going to be like, oh, damn, I don't know how to do this. Or I know what to do, but I still don't know exactly how to do it. And then you would be the obvious solution to that. So here's another example of one that I did a while ago. That was a mini course for LinkedIn acquisition. So it was 3 days. There was attract, nurture, ascend. And you can see each video. This one was 20 minutes. So each video was actually 20 minutes. So if it was a workshop, 60 minutes, 3 videos, 20 minutes, it's the same length as a workshop, just split up, right? And every single day at the end of it, I would tell them what to expect tomorrow. Like, hey, tomorrow, this is what you're going to learn. Here's why it's like you don't want to miss this, right? Getting them excited for the next day, very important. Same thing with the challenge. You want to get them excited for the next day. And so that's an example of a mini course that I did. And those are the mistakes that you want to avoid when you're doing that. Cool. All right. So with that being said, those are the 3 types of value assets that have worked and performed best for me, myself, my clients over the years. And these are great if you want to get a bunch of new leads. You want to get people excited about you, what you do, familiar with you, what you do. You want to build trust, build authority, build credibility, relationships, everything we covered in this episode. It's going to be so important for you if right now you're relying on cold outreach, you're chasing clients, you feel like you only have referrals. This is how you're going to start getting a lot of new leads in and turning them actually into buyers. Of course, I didn't get quite into automations and things like that in this episode. I can do that in a future episode. But with that being said, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for tuning in to episode 20, and I will see you in the next episode.